Live Tuesday, August 29th from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios. This is Fantasy Dominance Now. Come dominate fantasy sports with us. And bringing you all the tools to dominate is Soapstash, the new soap standard. Like them on Facebook, Soapstash LLC. Find them online, soapstash.com. And for ordering information, call 844-890-3197. From the best soap in the business, we are the best fantasy minds in the business. Happy money fight, everybody. Thank you ever so much for joining us, both on YouTube and now on Facebook Live. We have Steel Curtain enthusiast, Mikey Kickoff.
Yo.
We got driver of the Wentz wagon, Brian Daly.
What's up?
We got 49ers faithful, Doug Pitchford.
Woo!
And I'm your resident Cockroach Cowboys fan, Rob Hovia.
Hey, at least he called it.
Yeah,
like
I was going to
he
say.
sees
At least he admits it.
Well, we're all here to guide you in fantasy dominance and all things fantasy, thanks to Matt Sensudi and the producer's chair. And if you want in on the dominance, there's a few ways to do that. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You search a2dradio.com now if you got fantasy questions. Come here on the book or tweet us on Twitter with the hashtag AskFDN. I'm at RobbieBLTZ. Doug, you are at
StatMagnet85, y'all.
Mike, you are at
Mike_Kleinkopf.
And Brian, you are at
Brian_HUD Radio.
No matter what the handle, hashtag AskFDN. We'll get to your questions live on the show, or if you're listening to the replay, we'll get you set. We'll get your answers ready to dominate in all things fantasy. So, what's up, gentlemen? Did that fight live up to the hype or what?
I thought it was a good fight.
Yeah?
I mean, it was definitely entertaining.
Yeah, I was not pleasant. I was pleasantly surprised, actually. I thought it was going to be a train wreck, but it was exactly like I said it would be. You know, he'd win later on in the fight because dude would tire out after 3 or 4 rounds. But he looked good those 3 or 4 rounds, though. He was just going right after him. You know, I kind of want to see what he can do if he actually trains and like becomes like a professional boxer. I want to see what McGregor can do.
I had it even through 6. I think McGregor took the first 3. I think Mayweather took the second 3. I actually had McGregor taking the 7th as well. Some people had, or most people had Mayweather taking the 7th. I think you were one of them, Doug.
Yeah. He didn't. He didn't win another round after the second, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I thought maybe after the third round, it was all Mayweather from there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as expected, certainly. I mean, coming from the UFC world to the boxing world, it was definitely the challenge that we thought McGregor would have. And what it does is it opens up the door. This is not going to be the last time this is just the precipice of the crossover.
See, I mean, I would hope so, only because I think when you compare MMA fighters to boxers, I think that boxing is a much harder sport of the two.
Yeah.
There's a lot more skill involved with only having 2 weapons, these 2 right here, versus basically having your entire body as a weapon and as a defense. So, like I said, it's a lot more. Boxing takes a lot more skill, but I'd love to see a lot more of these guys come over because I think some of these guys would be much better boxers than they are MMA fighters.
Yeah, no, very well could be. And I mean, we got a good fight because, like you were saying, Mayweather wasn't running. He actually was standing toe-to-toe, maybe turning his back a few times, eliciting some hammer fists that McGregor just couldn't stop doing. But I just, like Tom said, and I'll just reiterate on Agree to Disagree on Sunday, I don't remember the last time I was this excited to see a boxing match, and I agree with them wholeheartedly.
Never.
I've been way more excited for other fights than this. I'm more excited for the fight that's happening. I believe it's this weekend between Triple G and Canelo, to be honest with you. But I've been way more excited. But I'm a boxing guy. I mean, I've been watching fights since I was 7. So you give me boxing over almost anything.
Well, I do want to give a special shout-out to all the people in Houston, Texas right now suffering the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey. Best wishes. May God be with you all. You definitely have our prayers here at FDN.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. And if you can donate, please look up the J.J. Watt Foundation. That is a great way to donate right now. He's already raised well over $1 million. And I do believe he's actually going to be matching whatever donations that are generated through his foundation. So, keep pouring in the money because, the people in Houston definitely need it.
Yeah. Oh, no, there's no doubt about it. I mean, talking about similarities to Katrina, it's already there and it could get worse. It's supposed to rain there straight through Friday on top of everything they've gotten. So, definitely heartfelt wishes to all the people in Houston. But let's get to why the people are listening today, and that's all about fantasy football season and injury advice. I can't believe we're already dealing with this and the season hasn't even started. But just give a little recap of the show. Later on, we're going to drop our MLB DFS value plays for DraftKings and FanDuel for Tuesday, August 29th. And along with our stack, fade, and lock of the night, we'll also cover Fantasy Baseball League ads, drops, and strategies as we inch closer to the playoffs, as well as can Stanton reach 60 home runs and be the first one to do that in quite some time. We'll get to all that and more. But first, the NFL season hasn't even begun yet, and we already have these major injuries, like I said, to discuss and replacements to find. So we asked you on Facebook and Twitter, who is the biggest loss for the 2017 fantasy football season? Is it Julian Edelman, Spencer Ware, Cam Meredith, or other? Because there's been some other injuries. You can chime in on Twitter. We'll get to the poll results later in the show. Comment on Facebook Live. Comment on our Facebook link on YouTube in our chat room. We'll get to all your comments live on the show. But first, as always, gentlemen, I want to see where you stand. Who's the biggest loss? Maybe if a guy you on this list you drafted, or just in general for this fantasy football season.
Well, before we get into that, we already got a bunch of comments coming in on Facebook Live about this. We got Tom Arnone commenting in saying that it's Julian Edelman, Greg Malakovich saying it's Spencer Ware, and we have a couple guys going back and forth on what Doug was talking about with the fight. Vinny Massington saying, no way, MMA is tougher and more skillful. You throw hands, takedown, submit, kick, elbow, etc. You have to know and do so much more to keep yourself safe or to be good.
That's a good point.
Right, but that just proves my point. There's more things you have to defend. It means you don't have to be skilled in any of those things. You just have to be semi-proficient in how to use your elbows, how to use a grapple, how to put someone in a submission hold, how to throw your hands. Like, there's no actual skill involved there, no true proficiency in the skill. You know, that proves my point. Like, whereas boxing, you literally only have two hands. And you have to be so skilled in throwing those two hands that you can knock somebody the fuck out. So, you know what I mean? Like boxing is a way harder sport because you only have two weapons.
Tom Arnone chiming back in with, I'm a boxing guy as well, but there hasn't been a fight with this magnitude in about 12 to 15 years.
I mean, the Tyson Holyfield fight comes to mind immediately. The Mayweather-Pacquiao fight comes to mind immediately because there was super hype around it, almost as much as this fight. The Canelo Triple G fight should be as hyped as this fight. I know real boxing fans are really hyped for this fight because it's going to be a great fight. And I hope it is because at least then it may garner some new fans, or at least a rematch. That's all I want.
Okay, Mike Flaherty chiming in. I spelled boxing on my phone and it autocorrected to the word boring.
Not this fight, Pally.
And Matthew Curley Jr., they all suck. None of them first 3 rounds. Maybe Edelman, only in the PPR league. Hogan will steal late now if you were smart enough not to have or had your draft yet.
See, I disagree with that a little bit. A lot of hype has been going to Chris Hogan here because of the absence of Julian Edelman. And now, is it going to increase his targets? Yes. Is it going to increase targets for Brandon Cooks? Yes. It's going to spread. You got to spread around the targets.
Right.
But I think the true benefactor here is not even a wide receiver. It's a running back, and it's James White. That's who I think really will solidify that over the middle for Mr. TB12.
I see. Normally, I would agree with you, but not so fast, my friend.
Okay.
I think it actually does help a running back's value, but it won't be his.
Right.
It's going to be Deion Lewis.
Oh.
It gives him a true role in the offense now, because if you wanted to lessen his role in the offense, make James White more of a feature back, because his hands are solid, but they're not great. Now you have Deion Hands, who has elite level receiving hands and elite level route running from the running back position, and you can slide him into more of a comfort zone for himself.
Right. But my ultimate point is just there's a crap ton of people, and yes, that is a scientific term, crap ton, are really elevating Chris Hogan. I've seen him go in drafts in the 6th round because of this. That's crazy.
No, that's insane.
Especially, you all know the way Belichick likes to mix and match, likes to spread the ball around. I couldn't raise Chris Hogan's value there just because of this injury. I mean, like I said, it does go up a little bit, but not to the point where people are going insane over Chris Hogan.
But what happened to Dobson there too? Like, remember that kid last year had a nice little 5-game stretch there. Malcolm Mitchell's there.
I was going to say Malcolm Mitchell, yeah.
You know what I mean? By the way, Dobson's not even there anymore. But Malcolm Mitchell, you know what I mean? He had a nice stretch there for a little bit. And the kid Austin Carr's got some hands, and he's a tough little bastard, too. Like, don't sleep. Like, they don't have a couple guys that can go get the football. And they still are paying a guy named Danny Amendola, last I checked.
Yeah, but his durability just always – I mean, if you want a pure replacement for Edelman in the wide receiver core, that's your guy. Danny Amendola has same skill set, not as talented, but also has the durability issues. So I wouldn't go screaming for Danny Amendola, too, because the injury just really worries me there. I like James White. And if you want to go Deion Lewis, I'm not hating you, whatever you stand on that. But in PPR leagues, I think that's where their true value goes up the most because of this injury. I don't know. What do you say, you guys?
Well, I got Christian Harrod chiming in, pretty much agreeing with Doug, saying I've been saying Deion Lewis is moving to the slot too. Great minds think alike.
Truth be told.
David Roscoe on YouTube goes, how Reigns and Cena promo went last night. Well, we have a jam-packed show, Roscoe. I don't think we're going to be able to get to WWE, but I mean, Brian, if you want to chime in real quick on that, just to answer the man's question.
I got nothing. I didn't watch.
Oh, that's right. That's right. According to Maddie, that's who it was on the way in, was saying that Cena just absolutely owned Reigns in that promo. And if you're trying to build up by two guys that both the crowd hate against each other, well, you may have raised Cena's book a little bit, but Reigns just keeps on plummeting like stock watch in fantasy drafts.
Hey, man, I mean, not everything can be like the NASDAQ, bro, and just keep rising. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, his star is still shining bright, but, man, I hate listening to that man talk. I really do. Get me Paul Heyman, God damn it. Make him the next big thing.
No kidding. No kidding. So let's get back to the issue at hand here. Who do you think is the biggest loss, Edelman, Ware, Meredith, or somebody else?
I think he's Edelman.
Yeah, I think out of the three right here that we have, it's got to be Edelman. And the only reason I say that is because I think we saw Kareem Hunt eventually was going to probably take over Spencer Ware's spot. So I really don't see that so much as a loss. I see it as a loss for the people that drafted Spencer Ware so early.
Yes.
Because a lot of people were going like fourth, fifth round for him, even earlier for that.
Yeah, I mean, fourth, fifth round's kind of average, though. Like, anything earlier than that's insane.
I mean, it's crazy to me considering I think we all saw that Hunt was going to eventually take over this job, you know?
Yeah, but I still don't think it was – I don't think it would have been this year, though.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely saw it positive, definitely being this year. And then we go to Cam Meredith. It's Chicago, and that's all you need to really say.
Yeah.
But it's going to definitely give value to another guy on that team who, definitely lacked and was one of my worst picks last year. But I'm only going Edelman. One reason was because Brady's favorite third down target last year was him. I believe he was third in the league for third down receptions.
Right.
So,
yeah. But he did have a very down year last year. I mean, in my opinion, I thought he was
still a PPR monster.
Not gonna. It wasn't gonna be this year though. I mean, there's a reason you bring in a Brandon Cooks. You bring in a Brandon Cooks for 130 receptions a year.
Everybody's open now.
Brady came out yesterday and said the loss is going to be felt huge. You know what I mean? In terms of that connection, Brandon Cooks, great talent. Obviously, your number one receiver, best talent in that core, but they haven't had the time to build up the chemistry that Brady and Edelman have.
Oh, of course.
That was going to be the point I brought up, is these two guys have been playing together for how long now? The chemistry that these two have is ridiculous.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, the chemistry is there. I mean, I don't know. I just thought that, Edelman looked like he's starting to lose his step, and he looks like he's taking enough hits to the head. He's starting to look like Wes Welker when Wes Welker was thinking about what he was doing instead of playing the game. So, in my opinion, I don't think he was going to have a huge year anyway. I think this was already the start of the decline, which is why they brought in a Brandon Cooks in the offseason. But I think Spencer Ware it's a toss-up between Spencer Ware and Ryan Tannehill to me in terms of the biggest loss. I'm not sold on Jay Cutler whatsoever. I think Ryan Tannehill would have had that Miami offense really humming and being able to move the football, especially because he can run. He can run with the football himself. He's a running back with the ball that can throw. So, with losing that aspect to their offense, I think I think it brings down some of the big playmaking ability that the Miami offense has. And then you add in Jay Cutler, I mean, that just increases the turnovers that every team has, So, I think that might be the bigger loss of all. But I do think Spencer Ware, being that guaranteed goal line guy that he's going to get the ball, he's going to hammer that ball into the end zone. I think that's going to be a big loss for Kansas City inside the 5.
Yeah. No, I can hear that point. I can definitely hear that point. And you do raise a good point with Tannehill, too, because, is he a top 15 quarterback in this league? No. But if you talk about what he's doing for that Miami Dolphins organization, You know, if you're talking about what's the greatest loss for actually on the gridiron, yeah. I mean, he's their general. I mean, you still saw some success with Matt Moore, but they easily faded off in the playoffs. So, you know, and you bring in Jay Cutler here. Yes, pair it up with Adam Gase. They've have had a lot of success in the past. That was then, this is now. He does have a crop of receivers to go to, but it's his downfield accuracy that is just exponentially diminished over the course of his career. And I don't see that improving just because of a coaching matchup.
Nope, not at all. I mean, the arm's still there, but I mean, you know, when the guy's open over here, why are you throwing it over there? Just saying.
Better than Bortles, though.
Yeah.
Dude,
Keep that shit in bounds, man.
my 5-year-old cousin's better than Blake Bortles.
That's a shame, man. He's
And
On YouTube, we
he's
got
a cannon, bro.
on YouTube we got Tyler's channel chipping in. His answer is Edelman to our poll, and he asked us a question in a PPR: who would you rather have, Dez or DeAndre Hopkins?
DeAndre Hopkins.
I think I'd have to agree with you.
I feel like there's so many. He's their sole number one, and with Fuller and Strong being suspended and all that, you know.
Right. But quarterback situation, I mean, you're talking Tom Savage, Deshaun Watson eventually, opposed to Dak, who has proven that he can do it in this league. Has he proven that he can go downfield with regularity? No, he hasn't proven that. I've seen it. I've seen him build up a great rapport with Dez over the last couple games of last season. Does that continue into this season? I think so.
I think so, yeah.
But ultimately, I agree with you, gentlemen, for one reason only. Dez is getting older now. A lot of people just still see him as that young player, and I think he's slowed down just a teensy bit. You don't agree?
No. I think the only reason why I would take him over Dez is because Dez has a partner in crime. Dez has Cole Beasley. You know, Cole Beasley's probably going to lead the team in targets. He's probably going to lead the team in receptions. Dez is going to lead the team in yards and touchdowns. Right.
Plus, don't forget, you know, you definitely got that kid Ryan Switzer that they drafted in too. So that's another arm to feed. You also got Williams as well. So on the other side in Houston, Williams.
Who?
Terrence Williams, good talent, but still, I mean, okay. Well, can you compare him to Braxton Miller? You think they're on the same par, or Jalen Strong?
I mean, they're young players. They at least the only difference between the two is they at least have promise because they're still young.
You're shaking your head. Who's better?
Probably, I would go Cowboys.
No, but I mean, in terms of like Terrence Williams versus like a Braxton Miller or Jalen Strong,
I would probably still go. I kind of like Williams.
You do like Williams?
I kind of do.
Okay.
Actually,
Okay.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
All right.
I mean, he did pretty solid except for him fumbling the ball, but you know, he still gets a lot of looks.
So you were on my side there, and I'm all of a sudden trying to attack you here, but I'm not really trying to attack you though, because my ultimate point there is if you elevated one of those guys, Miller or Strong, ahead, well then if that's a better number two to DeAndre Hopkins, doesn't that answer the question that Dez should be over DeAndre Hopkins? But your answer is Cole Beasley. Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's tough.
It is tough.
You're starting to sway me.
I'll take the promise over Terrence Williams right now, though. I'm just not sold anymore.
It's good in the red zone.
Yeah, but I'm just not sold anymore.
I got Christian Harrod chiming in here. Bruce Ellington has been making a ton of catches in the slot in Houston.
Tis true.
And he's a speedster, man.
Definitely a sleeper to keep tabs on, too, because he was great in San Francisco, got injured last year, if I'm not mistaken, really diminished what he could do, and now he's back healthy and strong with Houston.
That is correct, sir. I don't know. I liked him. I thought that he had a chance in San Francisco. I just, you know, with the so much dysfunction with that organization the prior 2 seasons, you know, it's astonishing how, you know what I mean, how anyone would even want to play there at this point. Like, they let so much talent walk out the door for no reason the last 3 seasons. It's unreal.
Truth be told.
From a fan. From an angry fan.
But it was already established over the weekend that Edelman's done for the year. Spencer Ware is done for the year. Edelman may even dip into next year because there's a lot more going on in that knee than just the tear. Cam Meredith, same situation. As of this morning, has been deemed out for the season because he too, along with that torn ACL, just has all kinds of damage to that knee. So, you know, you got to feel bad for some of these guys that not only is their season done, but next year might be compromised a little bit as well.
You know what? In terms of Edelman, I mean, yeah, it sucks, but I don't feel bad for him. I mean, the man got paid. The man won Super Bowls. He's made his money. You know, he was on the tail end. He was on the back nine regardless.
Sure.
So, like, you know, eventually, like, you were either Father Time was going to catch you or someone was going to clock you. So, you know, like, he's whatever. But for Cam Meredith, I feel really bad, though, because this is a kid. He had a lot just starting to come into his own, a lot of promise. Career could be over. That sucks. You know, that's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I kind of feel bad for Edelman the way it happened. It wasn't like he took a hit. It looked like, from what I saw he went to make a cut and his foot stuck and his knee gave.
Yep. So
I kind of feel bad for that one.
That's the image I really wanted in the thumbnail. Did we get it? No. I'm not even going to go there on the show. But what I will say is this, though, is that in terms of the Chiefs and Spencer Ware, right, he suffered the PCL injury and his ACL is fine.
Yeah.
So.
And LCL, too.
Correct.
It's everything but the ACL, which is, you know.
The easiest to fix.
Yeah. I mean, either way, if you tear something in your knee, you're screwed.
Right.
Basically.
Right. And we'll get into replacements and sleepers for week 1 on the other side, but just highlighting these injuries right here, going briefly into it, we talked up Kareem Hunt a little bit.
Yeah.
Is there any competition from Karchandrick West here?
No.
I mean, his value goes up, but it's not. I think it's Kareem Hunt. I think he's already been told that he's the starter for week 1. So
right, absolutely. Now, in lieu of that, though, go ahead.
PPR, I think maybe that's where West could go up a little bit too. I think he might be more their third down back, but I'm not sure. I'm not a Kansas City fan, and you know I don't know what Reed's going to do with him. But
I've seen Kareem Hunt play in college. Kid has hands.
Does he have?
He's a three-down.
Then I take back what I'm saying about West. So.
He's a three-down.
Not so fast, my friend, to use this guy's term. What I've been seeing in preseason and reports from practice, Kareem Hunt's pass blocking ability leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
Now, with rookies, very common. They got to work on that. That may see more of a timeshare between the two. Now, you know me. I drafted Kareem Hunt not in the 9th round before this even injury because I knew Spencer Ware was injury prone, and I have a lot of faith in exactly what Doug said.
Yeah.
3 down back in this league world of talent. So I hate to see a player go down. I don't wish anybody any harm, but I was glad because I got Kareem Hunt. But that's the one thing that concerns me, though, is that he might see less time on the field because of a deficiency in pass blocking that Karchandrick West certainly is a professional at. And when it comes to fantasy football, it's all about time on field, all about time to get those touches. So we'll see what's up.
Steelers just made a trade with his team here.
See, this is like I just said with the losing of talent, but I don't mind this deal.
The Steelers acquired tight end Vance McDonald and 5th-round pick for 49ers from the 49ers for a 4th-round pick.
Wait, we gave him and a 5th-round pick? Why are we giving away draft picks to give away players? I mean, granted, yes, I understand we're moving up we're moving up around, but we're only moving up probably 10 spots.
Yeah, I hope
8 spots.
I hope there's nothing wrong with our outlaw then if we're picking up another tight end. So.
No, I don't think you have a backup tight end. I think that's why.
Yeah, I can't even tell you what the kid's name. Well, no, because we got Xavier Grimble.
Like I said, you don't have a backup tight end. That's probably why.
I love Xavier Grimble.
Yeah.
You just love saying his name.
I do.
That's the only reason why you like him.
And Hamilton, too, as well. But, I mean, a true name, Vance McDonald, is, pretty solid.
Yeah, he's a quality tight end. I mean, he's not a starting caliber tight end
as long as he could block. Because, Jesse James is going to be going out for passes.
Yeah. Right.
So
the outlaw.
Outlaw. Got to love him.
You got Christian Harrod chiming back in here. I'm going to read this backwards because I like where this is going to lead. Seems like Buffalo is blowing it up and starting over. So now with Spencer Ware being out, LaShawn McCoy, Andy Reid reunion maybe?
Not going to happen.
I don't see
it happening. Interesting concept, though.
It is a very interesting concept, but the only reason why I would be against this is because, Chiefs already went out and they drafted a top-notch rookie running back in Kareem Hunt.
Right.
Who's probably I think he's going to share time with West to start the season, but I think as the season goes on, it's going to be Hunt's job.
Right.
Now, if they go out and get a guy like Shady McCoy, that kind of defeats the purpose of doing that.
Right. I could see maybe the Bills wanting to do it because LaShawn McCoy's still in his prime, but on the tail end of it, starting to get long in the tooth. But how much would the Chiefs have to give up to get him.
Right.
And really, even with Ware going down, to your point, is there really a strong need?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's an absolutely good point.
Yeah. No, there's no, I don't, it sounds awesome. Not going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point to wrap up on here on Facebook Live. If you want to stick with us, get some of the replacement players, some sleepers for week 1, shift over to our YouTube link. You can find it on our Facebook page, a2dradio.com. You could search YouTube for our channel, A2D Radio. If you're already a subscriber, just click on over there. We'll get into some replacements. We'll get into some sleepers for week 1. In hour 2 of the show, we're going to shift over to Major League Baseball for fantasy leagues, getting you prepped for your fantasy playoffs, which are a week or 2 away, depending on your league schedule. And then we'll wrap up the show with some hot DFS plays for baseball tonight, Tuesday, August 29th. All of this is being brought to you by, as I said in the beginning, the Soap Stash. They are the new soap standard, and they remind you to treat your skin with the best nutrients and feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all their products, which are 100% natural and wonderful for your skin. Contact Soap Stash today for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can call them 844-890-3197. Look at their wonderful selection online, soapstash.com, or go on Facebook, Soapstash LLC, where you can see current specials. You can place your order right through Messenger, have it delivered in a couple of days, and be ready to treat your skin with the best soap, best shampoos, best oils you'll ever need, including CBD oils now as well, which is great for anxiety and depression. Soap Stash, the new soap standard. You're listening to Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com.
Don't go anywhere.
Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real talk, A2DRadio.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
Get your skills in shape, then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
You're listening to Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com.
And welcome back to today's Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com. Brian Daly, Mike Kleinkoff, Doug Pitchford, yours truly, Rob Povey, Matt Sensudi on the ones and twos, bringing you all the fantasy dominance. Now, if you want to be a part of the dominance, there's a couple ways to do that. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You search A2DRadio.com. If you got fantasy questions, use the hashtag AskFDN, and we'll get to your questions live on the show. Or if it's after the fact, we'll get you set up to dominate in all things fantasy sports. Just want to read off this one comment from the one, the only Brian Wilson of Agree to Disagree. He goes, 49ers faithful. Yuck.
Boo that man! Boo! Boo!
You gotta love Wilson.
Absolutely.
Hey, at least I rep my team strong. I don't care if they suck. Front runner. Stab.
Seems to be the theme of the show. Well, actually, in all intensive purposes, the theme of the show. Fantasy football injury advice. That's the name of the show. That's what we're talking about, and it's not even week one yet. Unbelievable. It really goes to show how dangerous the preseason can be, and that was a point that we didn't get to on the before the commercial break. Do you think like the preseason needs to get ramped down or something, or is it just the nature of the sport?
They need it, but I think it could be maybe cut to 2 to 3. But the only reason I don't like cutting it is because of these young guys. They don't get a chance at that point.
I don't think you can cut the preseason. I think it's necessary. I think you actually need to bring back all the hitting. I think that's part of the problem. And I think the other part of the problem is I think they need to expand the roster still. I think that, a 53-man roster isn't enough for a full season. I think that they need to expand to about a 70-man roster. Add an extra 17 players. More importantly, it allows you to not have to really play your main guys in too many preseason games. It limits it to like 1 or 2, live games where they're getting game action, and then it limits them to like maybe a couple series, one game, a quarter or a half another game, and then you're ready to rock and roll. More importantly, you're not getting these guys beat to shit in practice even. Because you're getting a look at guys that you want to get the look at in practice and things like that. And it's less reps, obviously, for everyone in practice. So. Just saying.
It's something to avoid. You want to get these guys ready for the regular season, but can't that get done in practice? And you kind of use these preseason games to evaluate your third and fourth string guys?
I mean, practice versus being in game situations is a completely different story, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
very true. I even thought it when I was saying it.
You learn, I was going to say, because, being a football player myself, you learn how your teammates, you learn what they're going to do against you.
Yep.
When you're going up against somebody you don't know what they're coming with. They could hit you with a cut, and you're breaking your own ankles. Whereas like You know, me being an offensive lineman going up against a defensive lineman, you know if a guy's a bull rusher, you know he's going to come with a swim move. You know? It's just you learn somebody by going up against them every day. You don't know what these guys have, and that's where these young kids learn the most.
Right.
Is going up against real time and all that stuff. So, to me, it hurts. That's what I'm saying. It hurts the youth in the league cutting down the preseason.
Yeah.
But that's why, like, I'm happy with the Steelers this year and not playing. They haven't. The AB and Ben, it was the first time they played was week 3. It was the first snap they took all preseason, and they were only for 2 or 3 series.
Oh, you knew that was going to happen, though.
You know,
I mean, with all the games
Ben
missed there.
Ben took a hit right away in the first series and fumbled the balls. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, no. Saw the shoulder go out there. I'm like, no. I was like, get him out. Get him out. Please. You know, with everything else that's been going on, it's just, to me, I don't like – you know who your starters are, especially guys like Ben.
Right.
Guys like AB, Le'Veon, you know, just saying for Pittsburgh. Their offensive line is set. It's the younger guys that you want to see, so that's why they should be playing the most.
Well, Mike,
Which is why they do. Most preseason, these guys are going to play a series, 2 series, maybe a half at the most.
Yeah, right. But that's the thing. We've been seeing a lot of starters playing a whole half.
No, but that's that's a third.
That's
but
too much.
No, that's a third preseason game. It's what you're supposed to do in the dress rehearsal game.
I understand that, but
right.
it's just when you see big names go down like this.
At that
point, I know, but it's too much of a risk.
It starts hurting the product.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, I didn't see the Spencer Ware injury. I didn't see the Cam Meredith injury. Julian Edelman's injury came from just a freak move. Like, how many of these knee injuries and players that are going down are non-contact injuries?
And that was on the fringe
and
of that.
It's a part of the game. Like, it's something that we have to deal with as a part of the game.
Well, hold on. Ryan, you played football growing up, right?
Pickup. I didn't play organized.
All right. I know you did. I did. I know you did. We've discussed this before. Like, you know, do you think that the lack of padded practices has added to the amount of injuries we've seen in the last 10 preseasons? Because it's been about 10 preseasons now worth of decreased, you know, padded practices in the preseason. Granted, there were injuries and things like that even then, but do you think that has a lot more to do with some of these injuries we've been seeing now, non-contact injuries we've been seeing now?
It could be because I guess they're not getting hit, and it could be lack of muscle in those areas or something like that.
Like lack of muscle memory from contact?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So when they actually take like a full stride, you know, like practices, like I said, for the solidified starters, they don't need to go 100% in practice, you know? And then when they take it to the field 100%, and it's just like, it's a whole different game for them kind of thing, you know? And then they get hit, and it's like, then they get screwed.
But see, that's why I say that. And to that point is why I say they need to expand the rosters to about 70 people. Because when you expand it to 70 going into the season, guess what? You're also doing. You're expanding the preseason rosters by an extra 10 or 20 people.
Yeah.
Now by expanding those preseason rosters extra 10, 20 people, it's just in practices, it's less reps for the starters, more reps for the younger players, so to speak. In game situations, the starters will get the reps they're going to get in preseason games, but now you have way more younger players in there getting reps, and you're less wear and tear on the starters in unnecessary situations. I feel like that'll help decrease a lot of these injuries, but it also helped their conditioning too, in a way, because now these guys have to take it upon themselves to be in better shape before they even get to camp.
Exactly, and then those second, third string, fourth string guys are going to be more conditioned for a game if something does happen to those starters.
Exactly.
So I agree with you totally. Maybe not so much 70, maybe another 10. I think even another 10 guys.
Go to 63?
Yeah.
I say 17 just to keep the numbers even.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I do believe that they should expand and maybe cut down a game, but it's all part of the game, though. That's the thing. It's all part of the game. I mean, it sucks and it happens, but I could go both ways with it. You know, I'm concerned about the injuries, but at the same time, it's part of the game.
And what are they doing training-wise? Are they stretching enough? I mean, especially with all the non-contact. I was affected by it with Keaton Allen last year going down so early or whatnot. These non-contact injuries definitely can be almost more severe than the contact injuries. So it's not really a question of contact versus non-contact. Maybe it's a question of conditioning.
But real quick, we'll go to contact, and it's a name that we really haven't brought up because he's not supposed to miss and maybe miss week 1, is Odell Beckham.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we saw that hit to the knee, but really it was his ankle. I thought his knee was blown out once I saw that contact because it was the way he landed He planted his foot, and as soon as he planted, he got hit in the knee. So I thought right then and there it was going to be that issue, but it ended up being an ankle. But that's something like that. Should he even be, like, out there? That's the kind of thing. Like, Odell's he's going to be game ready week 1. Does he really need to be out there that long kind of thing,
Right.
So.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's a violent contact sport. I mean, these things have to happen.
Oh,
I mean, it's the same argument with the Vontaze Burfict hit. Was it legal? Was it illegal? I'm sorry. He squared dude up. He hit dude square in the chest. Like, nothing illegal. Like, I mean, how is there even a question on legality of the hit?
It's just because of who he is and how many times he's been already suspended for it. And it's the same thing that was happening with James Harrison. Right. Every time James Harrison had a –
oh, man. Remember when he killed Josh Cribbs? He killed that man. He was dead on the field. He murdered. It was a drive-by, bro.
Listen, it's the same situation going on with Burfict, and it's because of his name, and it's just a way that he took the hit. And, yes, the rule says you could hit somebody within 5 yards. But it's also the fact that he blindsided him. And, it just didn't look good.
Right, but you know what? This is football, bro. I'm sorry. I remember watching guys getting blown up over the middle field. I had never saw it coming. Steve Atwater, Ronnie Lott, killing dudes.
But it's just the fact that it was so unnecessary that it was
right, but then they got rid of the really unnecessary part. If you're going to kill a dude that doesn't see it coming, don't fucking hit him in the head.
Right.
Yeah. Get rid of that.
I don't like
and
the
they
hit.
did.
I don't like the hit.
Well, it's illegal by the modern rules, right? I get that. But suspension worthy?
No.
That's the reputation. That's not the individual play. I mean, repeat offenders in any sport get hit harder.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. It's purely rep that he got 5 games for.
Right.
Well, no, the 5 games are actually mandatory. That's a new league mandate now for repeat offenders. The second time you get a penalty for it, it's an automatic 5-game suspension.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's how they're. Yeah, that's how they. Well, that they had to do something to get rid of headhunting.
Yeah.
Like, you can't hit a guy above the neck anymore. They don't want you to do that. But at the same time, then they need to really clean up what they're suspending guys for. They need to make sure if a guy's blasting a dude below the at the shoulders down, doesn't matter as long as he's squaring him up right in his chest. Like, I don't want to see guys getting suspended for that, because that comes back to the whole double standard and the bullshit.
Like, it's just if it was like the only thing I'm gonna say about that hit is if it was a run play, blow him up.
Right.
But it was a passing play, and he's coming across, and
the ball wasn't even out yet.
It wasn't
right?
in the air yet.
No, the ball was in the air. Ball's in the air.
Oh,
yeah, but it's not. It's fucking 500 feet above him, going to the end zone. So that's what I'm saying. It's just so unnecessary to just clean a guy out for no reason.
True.
Then he needed to run his route deeper.
He
needed to run his route deeper. It's very simple. Like, if he took an extra 2 steps forward, he was fine.
I don't know. I just think Burfict is a head case. And,
right.
You know.
Oh,
you have a case history with hating on
Burfict. Exactly.
Yeah. We remembered this last year.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Let's go to a couple comments coming in, guys, real quick in lieu of our poll question. What's the biggest loss of the 2017 fantasy football season? Spencer Ware, Julian Edelman, Cam Meredith, or other. Frank Besby goes, Spencer Ware for now. You have a lot of uncertainty with Karchandrick West and Kareem Hunt being the go-to guys for 16 games. Makes a good point there that we talked about it. Greg Malakovich also says Spencer Ware. And who was the third guy on the list? He goes, a little laughing. Don't sleep on Cam Meredith. He's a good talent.
Oh, man, he proved himself at the end of the season last year. He came out pretty strong. So
yeah, he's a good player, man.
More the reason I did draft Cam Meredith. I mean, it's not a big loss for me, but I mean, it's
a loss.
It's a loss, either way.
He's a good player.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Looking for Henry Wahalik goes, Doug doesn't understand what goes into a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I guess it was
right, but that's jiu-jitsu. That's just one brand of martial art. I mean, like, most MMA fighters are skilled black belts in multiple martial arts.
So wouldn't that make it harder?
Martial arts, things. Yeah, but I mean, being a black belt is not being like a 5th degree black belt. It's not being a grandmaster. I mean, you still got way, way, way more levels to go to get that type of level proficiency. But again, goes back to my point of level of proficiency. I mean, when you're talking about elite level boxers, you're talking about some of the absolute best men, hitting people with their hands in the world. They're better than most jiu-jitsu masters and shit, just because they know what they're doing. It's a different level of punching somebody.
I just love the comments that come ripping on you, man. I love to read
do
them.
too. It's just like, it gives me a drink. It's a nice glass of water, baby.
That's right. Set it up, baby.
And I'll keep knocking them out.
Let's get back to the topic at hand now. We want to talk about, we covered the injuries great way to bring up Odell Beckham Jr. because he is another, potentially significant loss, at least for week one, maybe.
I mean, there's even more, too, with Devonta Freeman with his concussion issues. Tyrod Taylor now has a concussion.
Yep.
And you got Andrew Luck as well with his shoulder. We don't know when he's coming in. I mean, I think we're already.
Don't expect Luck till week 3.
Yeah,
that's my prognosis.
not,
Even though the owner's still saying he's good to go to come off the PUP list for week 1, that's not happening.
Don't trust a dead arm.
No, I've been seeing multiple reports of people saying that he's not gonna be ready for week 1.
Right.
Yeah.
No.
Right. Solid for my QB2 though. That's great.
Absolutely.
I'm good with that.
Oh, you got Luck as your QB too?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh no, he's gonna start. Is he on the PUP or did they take him off?
He's still on the PUP, I believe.
He's gonna stay on the PUP, so that's at least week 6, week 8.
You know what? This
I think
is
at least week 6.
Well, it has to. If he starts the year on the PUP list, he's out the first 6 games.
Oh no! Before week 1, he will be removed from the PUP list just to give him that maneuverability. I think.
I don't like that.
No.
No, just leave him out the 6 games. It's already a lost season because he's not going to start till he's not going to be healthy till week 4.
Yeah, man, they got Tolzien. I mean, what's
As a T.Y. Hilton owner, I'm not kind of liking that prognosis,
Yo,
but he'll be all right either way.
Can I make a prediction right now? Besides Andrew Luck being on the PUP list, they're going to sign Colin Kaepernick week 2.
Oh,
they should. Why not?
He's
It's possible.
He's
Why
the best
not?
player. He's the best quarterback on their roster right now.
Yeah.
I like where your head's at, thinking replacements. So let's get to those replacements. They're being brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accountant. No replacement. They're a priority. Go get your taxes done. 215-369-3300. It's not just an April thing. It's a year-round thing. You're a private business owner. They can handle everything at Gibson Mayer LLC. So replacements and sleepers for week 1. Let's start at the top. Spencer Ware out, right? Kareem Hunt is an obvious replacement. Let's say he got drafted already, whether it was after this news or before this news, in my case, of my draft. Is there another guy you can go for? Don't even look at football wide. That could be an adequate replacement for that running back of Spencer Ware that was drafted on your team, or even a sleeper that can help you down the road.
Marlon Mack.
Marlon Mack.
I like Marlon Mack a lot.
Rookie. Yeah, go for it.
No. You go ahead. That's all you. You brought him up, man.
Marlon Mack, love the kid, rookie running back with the Indianapolis Colts. He's the guaranteed heir apparent right now. He's number 2 on the depth chart behind Frank Gore. I don't see Frank Gore running the ball 25 times a game anymore. I mean, I'm pretty sure Frank Gore will have a stroke if he runs the ball 25 times a game. This kid is going to be the man. They're going to split carries, probably get about 10 to 15 touches each per game. And I see his by, week 6, week 8 start to really rise, and he starts to become the bell cow moving forward because he's a potential 3-down back, needs to work on his pass blocking and his catching ability, but can run pretty crisp routes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and he's only 4.2% owned in most ESPN leagues. So, I mean, he's available for the taking if you drafted – in my one league like I have already. Another name, I always like Jacquizz Rodgers. I always think he's a solid player. But if you also want to stay with that team for PPR, maybe Charles Sims as well.
Now you're reading my mind.
Right,
that was exactly it.
So, I mean, I like those two guys, especially with Doug Martin being suspended for the first couple of games. I mean, Sims is 7.5% owned in league, so he's definitely more available than Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't write down Rodgers' percentage. I'm not 100% sure where he's at. But, I mean, those two guys.
But you're saying Rodgers non-PPR, Sims PPR.
Well, I mean, I think Rodgers could do both either.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Well, Jacquizz Rodgers definitely a 3rd-down back. I could see that when Doug Martin comes back, if he reassumes the role.
But Charles Sims with Martin being that suspended, I think he could be their 3rd-down
yeah,
back. I think he will.
I think what happens is when Doug Martin comes back, I thought Rodgers had a shot to even hold that place above the muscle hamster, but Doug Martin's looked too good in preseason for that to happen.
Yeah, he really
right?
has.
And so what's going to happen is when Doug Martin's suspension ends, he goes immediately to number 1, and Jacquizz Rodgers drops down to 3. They already said that they're keeping Sims in his role during the suspension, after the suspension.
Yeah, so he'd be the clear-cut number 2. He's not going to see a whole bunch of touches. That's unfortunate.
More catches.
But it gives him value the first 2 games of the year, which is, more, getting off to a good start.
Sure.
It's more important.
Sure.
I also like Jamal Williams if he's available. This has always been a guy I've been touting. I've touted him in preseason. I've been touting him forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
But I for some reason, for as much as I really, really like Ty Montgomery as a running back, for some reason, I don't feel like Green Bay sold on him as a running back.
I don't trust him.
I don't think Mike McCarthy trusts him either, for that matter. Like he just doesn't seem comfortable just giving him the go. And I think he could actually be really good if you did it. But, I mean, Jamal Williams, he's 6'2", 215 pounds. More importantly, he's owned in under 50% of most leagues. He's 48% owned in Flea Flicker.
10.9 in ESPN.
Yeah,
so
like,
he's out there.
He's definitely out there.
It's a name I know you brought up when we were talking about him before for, rookies that could stand out this year. But I definitely like him as well just because they actually have a true running back now, whereas Montgomery is a wide receiver, So,
but he's a big boy.
I mean, I'm not dissing his skill because he looked great when he came in. But now you definitely have that true running back in Jamal Williams, and I think eventually, he will get that spot. And 10.9% in ESPN leagues looks pretty solid to me.
Absolutely.
So.
Another guy you could look at, too, for a replacement that's a guy that's very low-owned, Philadelphia's own Wendell Smallwood.
Yeah.
I think he's a guy that could do some things spelling LeGarrette Blount this year. We saw in the third preseason game for the Eagles, he rushed 4 times for 28 yards, which is a good per-run average there. He only played third down on the first drive, so that says to me, week 1, Blunt's your first and second down guy. Wendell Smallwood could be your third down back, which is great for PPR leagues. But after that, he was the featured back the rest of the game. So if Blount struggles during the season, there is a small window there for Wendell Smallwood to be your featured back in Philadelphia.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I definitely would buy that for $1. I mean, it's just there's so many uncertainties. I mean, he's a guy, you know what I mean? I'd be more comfortable picking on Wendell Smallwood as a handcuff if I'm a Garrett Blount owner. I would feel a lot more comfortable owning him.
Sure.
Just like I would with the other guy I'm about to mention. If I'm a Le'Veon Bell owner, you must own James Conner. Own James Conner. I honestly do think he's the reason why Le'Veon Bell will not remain in Pittsburgh.
The Terminator.
I'm going to tell you that right now. Yes, the Terminator, James Conner. He will eventually take that job from Le'Veon Bell, and it'll probably be next season when they let Le'Veon Bell walk.
Yeah, I mean, Le'Veon said on Twitter, he goes, "I'm staying if they want me."
Mm-hmm.
So
they don't want.
He'll be in camp though. I saw a tweet 9/1/17.
Yeah. No, somebody.
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah. No, you know what though? That's fine because he's another guy that's always hurt.
Yeah.
So why take the chances?
He doesn't get hurt. He gets suspended.
Well, he gets hurt too.
No, every season he's been hurt. So
yeah, he missed a game.
Both
here
though.
And there. Yeah.
Not defeating your point.
Yeah, game, playoff. Nothing big.
Avoid the problem guys. In drafts, if you still haven't drafted yet, avoid the problem guys. Why? I mean, why even do that to yourself? I
did it to myself. It's just a homer kind of thing for me.
Well, no. Talent. Sometimes talent circumvents things like that. And Le'Veon Bell's not a problem. I mean, I'm sorry. And what is he? He averages about 14 games a year. And in those 14 games, he puts up monster numbers.
Yeah.
Like I did in our rankings, I mean, I put DJ ahead of him. But, I mean, he's still top 2 running back to draft in leagues. But if you're looking, throughout the NFL universe, I might draft Antonio Brown before Le'Veon Bell. I mean, just in terms of consistency being on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on your scoring format, of course. Non-PPR leagues, I don't think you could do that. But I mean, Antonio Brown still sees the end zone a good amount, so wouldn't hate you on doing that as well. And that moves us on to wide receiver replacements and sleepers, which is being brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call, 856-889-3434. Look them up online, scanzanosports.com. Come get your game in shape. Come get your fantasy team in shape, because now you're missing Julian Edelman for the year, Cam Meredith for the year, possibly a game or two for Odell Beckham Jr. So what's some wide receivers that we can look at maybe on the same team? We talked about it a little bit with Julian Edelman, but beyond that, same team or throughout the NFL universe that we can recommend to our listeners.
Oh, I got a great one, guys. You ready? Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon?
I'm joking. Do not add Josh Gordon.
But
he's on my weed smoking team.
But in Cleveland, there's a guy.
Blackwood, man. They're my starting lineup.
There is a guy named Kenny Britt that they brought over. So I think that. Right away I'm just going to jump into it now. He's a sleeper for Week 1 against Pittsburgh because what's Pittsburgh's defense worst attribute? Their pass defense. So I like him against there, and I'm sure for DFS too, you could probably get him pretty cheap.
Oh, he's very
cheap. But even just to plug and play him for Week 1, I think you could. I think he's a pretty solid play. I mean, I'm bashing my own team.
I like how you slid that in there because that's really where I was going with that. That's why I mentioned Josh Gordon. I like that.
Listen, I like it even more now that Brock Osweiler is not the starting quarterback in Cleveland. Deshaun Kaiser is going to be.
Yes, announced.
So that actually has a little bit more value to it, in my opinion.
Young kid, man. I didn't even know this. What, he's 20, 21? 20 years old, starting quarterback in the NFL. You know there's going to be some ups and downs, but if you're in a deep league or definitely a two-quarterback league, Kaiser makes a good sleeper. And that, in turn, bringing us back to wide receiver sleepers, Corey Coleman. The chemistry that these two have demonstrated in the preseason is second to none. I'm very high on Corey Coleman this year in all formats.
And this is what I was talking about with Cleveland in the offseason when y'all told me I was crazy.
Well, I still
they
think
could be
you're
a
crazy
500 team.
I
They got pieces, bro.
I didn't call you crazy.
I did. I still think you're crazy. Listen, I mean, they have a solid. They might have a solid young team around them. I still don't.
They got a very good defense. They have a very good defense.
I just can't
Listen,
see them going 8-8.
I'm hearing Joe Hayden's name available for trade. If they lose Joe Hayden, that's going to hurt their defense a bit.
No, it's not. That's
You
how
don't
deep.
think at
That's
all?
how deep they are at cornerback. They can trade Joe Hayden. They are deep at corner. They have 5 starting level cornerbacks. I've watched a couple Browns preseason games. Those kids can cover all of them.
I haven't watched any preseason. All the games I've been working during every single game.
Well, you either watch the games or you just listen to someone you trust that's watched the games, one or the other.
That's basically it.
And we all trust each other here, so we're good.
I watched.
No. My boy, I do 2 shows. Wait, come on now. Come on now. Some more guys that I want to recommend sticking with the Bears. Obviously that quarterback situation is a hot mess. I mean, Trubinsky's actually outperforming Glennon in preseason.
I think we saw that, though. I think we saw that coming.
We did.
We kind of did.
I still say Kevin White makes a good pickup for Cam Meredith owners.
Yeah.
I think he really skyrockets, much like people are skyrocketing Chris Hogan. I think he is a main benefactor there with Cam Meredith. Because Cam Meredith was going to be their one, correct?
Yeah.
I would think so, yeah. I mean, considering the way Kevin White played last season was horrible. He only had like 36 targets last year.
Yeah, but I mean, you're also talking about a guy who's coming off a major leg injury the year before. It cost him an entire season.
True.
It cost him part of a collegiate season. So, like, he's pretty
Out of West
seriously
Virginia?
injured. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, what he did in West Virginia, though, I mean, certainly once he catches up to the pro game, and that could be as soon as this year.
He could be a big-time wideout if everything works out for him.
Right.
I think Zay Jones could be a big-time wideout, and that's actually where I'm going with this right here. Yeah, I'm going to jump on that bandwagon for you a little bit. I like how he's elevated himself through his practice play to basically being the number 1 guy. Him and Tyrod Taylor got a quick rapport built just in practice alone. I mean, granted, it's going to be very up in the air with Tyrod Taylor currently out with a concussion and in the concussion protocol. As well as Nathan Peterman, also in the concussion protocol, as well as their other actual backup quarterback, such and such McGilla Nuttamucuddy. Fucking also, I don't even know who their second string quarterback is, but it doesn't matter because he's also out with injury and I believe also out with a concussion. So,
wow.
I mean, maybe Buffalo needs to do something with that offensive line because it just seems like they allow their quarterbacks to get killed.
Right.
Trade for Mark Sanchez.
Another wide receiver I just want to spit out real quick, too. Now, this is a little bit convoluted because he did leave Saturday's game with a hip injury and did not return to that game. But a guy that I like ultimately in Tampa Bay, maybe if he's hampered for week 1, maybe not per se for week 1, like this was original sleeper for me for week 1 because I love Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense. The guy I'm talking about, Adam Humphries, a guy that really showed up on the map last year, and I expect to take the next step forward, hip injury in lieu here, depending on how severe. The severity of the injury is unknown at this time, but if Humphries were to miss any time, it would open the door for third-round pick Chris Goodwin, so that's another deep undercover sleeper there. So, but keep track, Adam Humphries.
All right, I got 2 more guys, and then I'm just going to leave it alone because
Cool.
I think I've said too much. Robbie Anderson, New York Jets. Listen, somebody has to catch the football. Even on garbage teams, somebody's got to catch 6 touchdown passes. I see Robbie Anderson doing that. Robbie Anderson might even crack 1,000 yards. I think the kid's got talent. So Robbie Anderson's a guy that I would definitely look to add if you're an owner of one of these injured receivers. And my last guy is Cooper Kupp. I like Cooper Kupp, man.
Kupp.
Especially in PPR leagues. I think this kid can be a superstar. I could see him easily, this season, picking up about 75 balls for about 900 yards. I can easily see him doing that type of production and only going up moving forward. I think the kid's a star in the making.
Yeah.
I do.
Feel it?
I got a feeling.
I got a feeling. That's cool. We wanted to give you some extra time, too, because we went into sleepers a little bit in the last segment of the last show, which you can, after our show today, you can certainly go back and listen to. But we want to give you credo since you were out enjoying the solar eclipse.
Oh, it was so awesome, by the way. For any of you that were able to see it in the path totality, shout out to y'all, because you know what I'm talking about. That was epic. And for all of you that missed it, you better go get in the path of the next one in 7 years. That's all I got to say.
Yes.
Life-changing.
Any more sleepers going once?
I'll go one. I'll go with a hometown boy here with Zach Ertz against Washington week 1, overall, I don't think Washington's defense is that good, except for Kerrigan. I love him. But
right.
Other than that, I mean, Norman's I think it hurt him going there.
Right.
And Zach Ertz and Wentz, I think, they've been great.
Well, you got to think about it. Linebackers are key in terms of coverage with the tight end.
Yeah.
I don't know they have some good linebackers, as you just pointed out, but they're more at tackling, rushing the quarterback.
Yeah.
Pass coverage seems to be a weakness. And Ertz, let's face facts, that's a wide receiver in a tight end's body.
Yeah. So I just think he's a nice little sleeper for week 1. Definitely be a little cheaper, too, for a nice value play.
Yes.
I got an even cheaper one for you. AJ Derby.
AJ Derby,
the
phenomenal one.
Yo, he is the top pass catching tight end right now in Denver, especially with Jake Butt, who's probably going to be out for the year. Their 5th round pick, who should have been a 1st round pick.
I've seen him get picked up in all my leagues so far.
This kid's
not drafted, but picked up.
This kid's an elite level tight end. If he was healthy, he would have been a top 15 pick. Because he can't just block, but he can also really catch the football. He's a true throwback tight end. But that being said, AJ Darby's got some great hands. I mean, there's a reason why New England traded him instead of just outright released him or cut him like they do with a lot of players they don't like, because they knew that they were going to lose him, and they don't lose guys for nothing that they know got talent. So, just saying. I like AJ Darby, especially week 1. I think he gets a touchdown.
Touchdown in week 1. Bold. Hey, we'll get into as we move closer to the season. As we're going to give our MLB DFS plays tonight, that's going to be so much fun, too, getting into our DFS plays on a weekly basis for the NFL season. Have us all make some money here. We'll also get into fantasy baseball playoff advice, both strategies, add, drop recommendations, as we're about a week or 2 away. All this and more, so much left to go in hour 2 of Fantasy Dominance now here on A2DRadio.com, and we're being brought to you by the BMW of Atlantic City dealership. They challenge its sales team, and they must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save. Right now, lease a certified pre-owned elite 2017 BMW 320i with xDrive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City, easy to get to. Minutes off of exit 37 on the Garden State Parkway. Check them out online, BMWAtlanticCity.com. Keep it there. Fantasy Dominance now, only on A2DRadio.com.
Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real talk, A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Get your skills in shape, then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
You're listening to Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com.
Welcome back to Fantasy Dominance, now only on A2DRadio.com. Hour 2 of the program. Brian Daly, Mike Kleinkoff, Doug Pitchford, yours truly, Rob Hobia, Matt Sensudi is on the production chair, bringing you all the fantasy dominance. And if you want in on the dominance, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You search A2DRadio.com. If you got fantasy questions, tweet us with the hashtag AskFDN, comment on the live YouTube chat, or drop some comments on the book. We'll get to your questions live on the show or help you dominate if it's after the fact. So shifting gears here, we've spent the first hour in football. Time to move over to baseball. It's a clutch time moving into the fantasy baseball playoffs. But before we get into all that, I just want to quickly give the NL and AL players of the week. The AL player of the week was Twins' Byron Buxton. He had 3 homers on Sunday alone, and over his last 7, as we load up here, he is 8 for 25, good for a 320 average, 4 homers total, 8 RBIs, absolutely showing that fine pedigree that we knew in Byron Buxton coming to the surface. Now, the NL player of the week is no surprise. It's Giancarlo Stanton, and he had 5 homers over his past week. He's currently on pace for the first 60-homer season in 16 years. Yes, you heard that right. In 16 years, pretty much since the steroid era was, running rampant throughout MLB. So, I mean, right away that raises a couple red flags for me with Stanton because he's actually been healthy this year. What kind of HGH that's not being currently tested could he be on? I don't know. I mean, he's staying healthy.
Well,
so
you can't test for HGH.
No,
there's no way to test for that.
No.
I asked a medical professional. There's no way to test for HGH.
Well, hey, fair enough. But, I mean, in either event, we're seeing what this guy can do being healthy, being in the lineup with regularity. So my question to you fellas, does he top the 60 mark? Does he have a chance of going on Barry Bonds level?
Barry Bonds level? I don't think so.
What is it? The record's 73.
73.
Right. The real record's still 61, but the record's 73.
Right.
Yeah, he might be able to get to 61. He still has a whole month to go.
Right.
Well, he's only 11 homers shy. I mean, he's going to obliterate.
And he hit,
60.
like
Right.
20-something this month. So.
Yeah.
19.
Oh, close.
He said 19 this month.
Yes.
And they're still or 18. I think it's 19 or 18. But either way, there's still like 3 days in the month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
August
easily
isn't even over yet. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So 60 is an easy number for Stanton to hit, especially on the tear that he's been on the last month.
If he can keep the tear up, if he can keep on this pace, I think he can hit 75. That's doable. Because that's only they do the math. It's 25 home runs in what? I think they got about 25 games left.
About that.
25 home runs in 25 games at the pace he's on right now. At the stretch the tear he's on right now is not undoable.
What do you have, like 5-6 games in a row with a homer? So, I mean, he shows he can hit it in consecutive fashion. That would be a tall feat. But I think just topping the 60 mark would be just a tremendous feat. As I said, hasn't been done in 16 years. There have been just 8 60-homer seasons in MLB history, and just 5 players have managed the feat, I guess, of recent present. The sentence is incomplete. This article sucks, but it does provide this information. Mark McGwire managed it twice, 70 in 1998 and 65 in 99. Sammy Sosa had 66 in 98, 63 in 99, 64 in 2001. He managed it 3 times. Even Bonds only did it 1 time, though the 333 intentional walks, 834 regular walks accumulated after 2001 had a lot to do with Bonds never even making it to 50 homers again, never mind 60, because they just stopped throwing to him.
Yeah, but that's what you had to do with the greatest hitter of all time. Sorry, greatest hitter of all time. Even both prior to the juice, he was going to be the greatest hitter of all time. I'm going to consider him the greatest hitter of all time.
Pardon me. I take that back from the comment about the article. What it was saying is it's been done 8 times by 5 players. Multiple ones is the ones I just read off.
Right.
That's my bad.
So that leads me to this question. Do they stop pitching to Stanton?
No.
Or are they going to keep pitching to him and let him get to 60?
Why would you stop pitching to him?
I mean, well, why would you? If he's on a tear like that, why would you pitch to the hottest hitter in baseball?
Lineup's too deep. Like, the difference with the San Francisco Giants, you could pitch around Barry Bonds. Like, you made guys like Jeff Kent kill you. You made guys like Matt Williams, who still played a little bit, hurt you. You made other guys in those lineups beat you. The Marlins guys will kill you. Because, like, you walk Stanton, now you got to pitch to Yelich. You try to get around Yelich, now you got to pitch to Ozuna. Then you got to pitch to Real Muto. Then you got to pitch to Justin Bour. Like, that lineup is killer. That lineup, if they actually had any semblance of a rotation, they probably would be the best team in the NL right now. Or they would be at least be on par with Washington and with LA.
I would take my chances with Yelich versus Stanton, though. Regardless.
I mean, this guy kind of sold me on it. The numbers don't lie. I mean, guy's a good hitter. He's got a good bat. And
they bat him second, too. It's not as, you can work around the 4th place hitter. You can even work around the 3rd place hitter. But, to Doug's point, you have Yelich after him. And then after that, you have Marcell Ozuna is having a lights out year this year, too. So it's like they may stop. And I dig your point, though, because you may eventually start seeing that here, especially if it's teams that are fighting for the wild card spot in the either league, because there's still interleague games left to be played. It'd be hard to, but I think they will. I think they will, even despite Yelich and Ozuna behind them.
I like Yelich. Yelich is on my fantasy team, and he's been having a phenomenal season. A little bit of a slow start, but he's really turned it around. I think Yelich is a great ball player, but if I'm standing there on the mound, I would rather pitch to Yelich versus Stanton.
True.
Yeah, but I mean, but again, to the point though, it's like what? So you're gonna pitch with a runner on first now, and 1 out, or you're gonna pitch with 2 guys on and nobody out with 3, 4, and 5 coming up. That's tough.
Take my chances.
I'm not. I'll pitch to Stanton with a runner on and nobody out. Because if he hits a 2-run homer, guess what? Now there's no one on and nobody out. versus pitching to 3-4-5 with 2 guys on and nobody out. Like that sets up a bigger inning than pitching to him with a guy on nobody out. Because guess what? I mean, you can get him out, but like what hurts more, the 2-run homer or the 2-run double, and there's a guy in scoring position and nobody out.
I'm gonna take a look at their schedule here real quick.
Depends.
I'll take giving up the 2-run homer versus the 2-run double.
It depends on with the home run. It depends on the pitch that I threw and the calls that I've been getting.
But I'll still rather give up the home run than the double.
I see where you're going.
They're finishing the series with the Nats. Then they got a series against the Phillies. Back at the Nats, Braves, Phillies, Brewers, Mets, Diamondbacks, Rockies, Braves. And then going into October, and then it ends there with the Braves series or whatnot. So
he can do it.
You could do it.
Yeah, a lot of suspect teams there. Not a lot of teams that really.
A lot of Braves and Phillies. And Mets with them. I mean, they're starting to.
I see a lot of
fade away.
Please, they've been fading away for a month now. They're obsolete.
Delete.
But let's get into, speaking of working our way towards the playoffs, let's help get fantasy baseball players ready for their playoffs. Our ad recommendations, drops, and strategies is being brought to you by the Sports Outlet. For all your sporting needs, give them a call, 856-939-2030, or look them up online, sportsoutletinc.com. So let's jump into some batter recommendations on the ad side. One guy that I just picked up in our league may not be available in every league because he's 70% owned, but it's a guy that's been hot over the past 7 days, and that's Trey Mancini of the Baltimore Orioles.
Nice scoop.
Yeah, right. First base eligible, outfield eligible, as well as DH eligible if you're in a league that plays with a DH slot. I think you'd make a fine pickup right now getting, maybe say you're, like for me, I'm a Cespedes owner, gone for the year, enter Trey Mancini for me. But even if you just need an extra bat and your team's still pretty healthy, he's a good guy to go for.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He's on fire right now. Guy I've talked about a few times this season. He's worked his way now on his new team into a more regular role again. Once again, Howie Kendrick, bro.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's the ageless one, hitting 343 on the season, absolutely destroying baseballs right now. Over his last 15 games, he is 16 for 49 with 12 RBIs, 8 runs scored, 3 homers.
Nice.
Absolutely killing baseballs right now. Howie Kendrick only owned in under 35% of ESPN leagues. He's an insta scoop. Another guy, third base eligible if you really need a bat, Eugenio Suarez. Another guy's absolutely raking right now, 14 to 41 over his last 15 games, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, 11 walks to 9 strikeouts with 16 runs scored in this stretch. Those are the huge numbers. This is a guy really putting the ball in play. He's seeing the ball's got to be like a beach ball to him right now. He is gone up in the ownership. He's up over 70% now. So if he is available in your league, he might be a guy worth scooping as well.
We're gonna keep rocking 70%ers here, and I'm going with the fam, Tommy Pham with St. Louis.
What up, fam?
What up, fam? He's batting. He's been solid all year. He's batting 302 right now, 72 runs, which I love, and the other thing I love too, 17 stolen bases.
That's
so
big time.
he's rocking 17 stolen bases, 17 home runs, 55 RBIs. He is, like I said, 70% owned in most ESPN leagues. But
sevens.
If you're an owner of Aaron Judge like I am, Tommy Pham right now is a pretty solid replacement for a guy that, Girardi said that they're going to bench for a couple games.
Yeah, he sat last night. Chances are he's sitting again tonight. Yeah. And if he comes back in the lineup and doesn't, if he can still occasionally work in the homer, he's going to strike out.
Yeah.
That's just his MO. We didn't see that too much in the first half of the season. We saw that catch up to him in the second half for sure. But the thing of it is he hasn't even been doing that lately. And if that continues, then this might be a guy that got you there, but isn't going to get you to the championship.
No. And the one thing that scared me, and this is why I don't like when big name batters go into the home run derby. He's batting 179 now since the All-Star break.
Yep.
So he went from batting 330 to 280 now.
Well, that's a great question. Do you think the derby messed up his swing and that's why he's struggling, or do you think that pitchers just the book's out on him and they learned how to pitch to him?
Probably a little bit of both.
Yeah,
definitely both. I think the home run derby kind of messes with your swing a little bit, but people figured him out, you know, and it's the same thing with football. They saw a quarterback like a guy like Kaepernick Russell Martin, or Russell Martin. Anyway, you know where I'm going.
Yeah,
I can't. I'm thinking of names.
Mikey definitely switched over to baseball.
I did. I'm like, what the hell's his name?
It's a weird time of year with both baseball and football considerations going on.
I'm getting confused. But anyway, you figured out the read option, and defense figured that out in the beginning. It was just like, damn, like, where did this kind of come from? But, they figured it out, and now it's not like, the biggest thing. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Let's run through some more ad recommendations because we do have some comments on YouTube that we will get to in just a moment. Not to step on toes, Brian, I don't want to take any guy away from you. You got a guy that's burning on your list?
Kevin Kiermaier right now has been one of the hottest players in baseball. 4 hits in his last 2 games. In his last, in his last 10 games, he's raised his average up 16 points. And in the last 7 games alone, Kevin Kiermaier is 10 for 30, 5 runs scored, 5 singles, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 8 RBIs, a stolen base. He's got a triple hidden in there too.
Yeah.
So Kevin Kiermaier, not only is he a good defensive outfielder, not that it really matters in fantasy baseball, but he's swinging a hot bat.
Yeah. Well, a couple ways it can. If your league has errors as a consideration, not so much a point. It's more for infielders than outfielders. How often do you get an error? But you can, and that could be a minus point maybe in a point league. But also, too, and this is the key thing that I found, guys that are solid in the field don't take frustrations from not being solid in the field into the batter's box. And I think when that's less of a concern, it creates a better all-around offensive player out of that defensive guy. A good example of this, and I'll get into, is Ben Zobrist, who's been up and down all this season. Well, he's been playing rock solid in the field, and it's been showing up over the last 7 days. He's currently batting .286 over the last 7 days with a homer, 5 RBIs, 2 walks, 0 strikeouts, which is great. You're talking about that ratio, excellent. Hitting for extra bases, got 3 doubles sprinkled in there. 6 for 21 overall. He's a good pickup to solidify if you need one guy. If you only have one roster spot and you want to back up 2 positions, he's second base and outfield eligible and only 36% owned. I have a lot of outfielder ones, too. I mean, I said Curtis Granderson last week. I'm saying it again because he's still only owned in 43% of leagues, but that's up 20% in the last week. He's been feeling the Dodger blue. If you're in a deep, deep league, Brandon Nimmo could be a good add, too. He's just an on-base machine. He's going to be batting leadoff, getting regular playing time with Michael Conforto now done for the season. Also, if you're hurting in the catcher position, which has been very thin this year, and in a deep league, I can only imagine how struggling it's been. I know I've felt it in our 16-team league.
Yeah.
A sneaky pickup is Miguel Montero out in Toronto. He's actually been batting pretty well. I mean, he is the backup there, so you got to consider at-bats. But if you're in that deep of a league, I mean, he has been producing at a nice clip. Certainly he's good for extra base hits. 231 average on the season isn't going to blow you away. But if you need a plug-and-play guy waiting for your starting catcher to get healthy, I think that could be a way to go.
That could definitely be a way to go. Robinson Chirinos could be another way to go. He's been on fire a little bit from the catching spot, 15 of 38. He became the primary catcher once they got rid of Jonathan Lucroy, who I believe was a cancer, actually. Because if you notice, once the team got rid of Lucroy, the team really started to play a little bit better. Just saying,
I was the owner of Lucroy, and he was trash. And, first couple of months he was awful. But obviously before I meant to say Russell Wilson talking about football. I said Russell Martin. I'm in, like Brian said, baseball mode right now.
We all knew what you meant.
Yeah, just making sure. Making sure the people know that I'm not going crazy.
The people.
I have a little under-the-radar ad real quick just to jump in here.
Oh, please.
Not necessarily sure if he's playing tonight because the lineup isn't out yet. He has played in the last 3 games. It's Tommy La Stella from the Cubs. He's been on a little bit of a tear. He's played the last 3 games. He's got 6 hits in those games. On the season, he's batting .322, 5 home runs. In the last 7 games that he's played, he is 7 for 16, 4 singles, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs, and 1 strikeout. So he's got a good contact rate. So he's been playing well. He's been rewarded with some playing time at second base, and I'm not sure if he's starting tonight against the Pirates.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a good pedigree, too. I mean, I think this will be a definite guy that we're talking about in the next 2 years as being, like, completely fantasy relevant, but certainly a definitely deep undercover pick right now.
He's 28 years old now, which is a little old up there, but You know, he's been a good stream the last few days. So I mean, if you're looking for a stream pickup, second baseman Tommy La Stella. He can also play third.
Especially since they're playing the Pirates.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned the people. I just want to get to a couple because there's actually a question here in our YouTube chat, which you can chime in now and get your answers. Lickety split, no shit. Austin Childers goes, he was offered Jamison Crowder for Rob Kelly in a PPR league. Should I accept?
Wait, what? Repeat the.
Offered Jamison Crowder for Rob Kelly in a PPR league. Should he accept?
Delete.
I have Rob Kelly as a sleeper kind of guy. I think he might be their starter, if not already.
No, he's definitely already the starter. I mean, he's Fat Rob. Like, I mean, he's better than Matt Jones. I'm not sold on Matt Jones whatsoever. In fact, I believe he took the job from Matt Jones last year anyway.
Right.
Chris Thompson is nothing more than a third down back. And this is a PPR league, so because of that and because Chris Thompson's established as the third down pass catching back, like, I'm not doing this deal. Especially with Jamison Crowder because he's basically the number 2 now. They lost Pierre Garçon last year. They lost Deshaun Jackson last year. Granted, you do bring in Terrell Pryor, but, I mean, he's not going to be the guy you look for on third downs to move the chains.
Absolutely. HDog1669 asks, does Fournette end up a top 10 back? I see 1,207 for his projections all over. I don't know if that's realistic or with that poop O-line that he has. So he wants to know what our thoughts are in terms of Leonard Fournette's.
I mean, if he could just stay healthy. I mean, he's got the foot injury going on right now. So, you know, I think if he plays all 16 games, he's definitely going over 1,000.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it might even go over the 7 touchdown mark. I mean, he's a big guy. He's, 240 pounds. I mean, if you get him on the goal line, he's going through.
My one question there is that, like all rookies, they're going to struggle at some point during their first season. He does have the lion's share in that backfield. But don't sleep on Chris Ivory. I mean, he's done some things in this league, and he can take touches away. I think he reaches that touchdown total, but he may miss the 1,000 mark. I think he comes close to it. Like I'm talking like 998. You know, as close as you can without, sniffing it without being there. So that could be a possibility. Tyler's channel also comes back in and goes, what's our thoughts on Chris Carson, running back in the Seattle Seahawks organization?
I don't think he's seeing any playing time right now. He's got a long list of guys in front of him. He's got C.J. Prosise. He's still got Eddie Lacy. Thomas Rawls is back there now. So,
but all 3 of those guys have done. Speaking about poop, have done poop in this preseason or whatnot. Whereas Chris Carson has looked very, very good. You always got to temper expectations though there because he may be looking very good, but is he going against their number 1 starting defense or third or fourth stringers? More often than not, when Chris Carter was in the game, it's the third or fourth stringers. But he's looked really good. So if you're in a deep league, Tyler, I think Chris Carson is somebody you definitely got to pay attention to.
Yeah, he definitely should be on the watch list because apparently Eddie Lacy has looked like complete garbage, which has been his MO the last couple of years.
Right.
C.J. Prosise, I believe, is battling an injury. Last I saw, and then
surprised me.
Thomas Rawls. I mean, who's to say that these guys aren't really just tuning themselves up and they're just going to go gung-ho and once week 1 starts?
Truth. Absolutely. But thanks for the questions. We're here for you, football, baseball, no matter what the sport is. But let's get back to the baseball before we round out this segment. Let's talk about some pitcher ads that teams that are trying to get in the playoff position or want to build their team up for the playoffs. If you are the prior and you're trying to get in playoff position, a good 2-start pitcher, we mentioned him earlier or during a break, and that's Mike Fiers. He's going against the Texas Rangers tonight and the New York Mets on Saturday. It's time to pick on the Mets the rest of the season with that depleted roster. Let's face facts. Fiers is only 37% owned. He began the month in very shaky fashion, allowing a combined 16 earned runs over his first 3 August outings. But in 2 starts since, the Astros righty has rebounded nicely, pitching a 2.19 ERA with a 1.14 whip to go along with 13 strikeouts across 12 and a third innings. Fiers has always been known for the strikeouts, and he's back on that gravy train. I think owners in most league formats should feel comfortable pitching Fiers this week for a number of reasons. Both of his starts will come at home, where he sports a 3.45 ERA and a 1.17 whip this season, compared to the 5.08 ERA and 1.48 whip away from Minute Maid Park. As for his, the opponents, the Mets ranked 23rd in the majors in OPS since the All-Star break, while the Rangers, despite ranking 13th in overall OPS, placed only 28th in OPS on the road. And this will be severely on the road because this game is going to be in Tropicana Stadium due to the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey. I mean, certainly this is a guy that can help you out this week, and I think you could hold on to for the playoffs.
I can
based on these trends,
Yeah, no, based on the trends, definitely. I could definitely see that. I mean, he's a good. If you can get him, he's a great ad. I wasn't able to get him, obviously, but he's definitely a good one. Sal Romano pitching for Cincinnati is a good one for the 2-star week. I think we talked about that already. And then I personally grabbed, and this is a guy I actually grabbed for the 2-star week this week, Jacob Junis, whatever you want to call him. Pitching against Toronto tonight, Tampa Bay, tonight, and then pitching against, I believe it's Seattle over the weekend, or Detroit over the weekend.
Don't believe, no.
Oh, there it is. Minnesota over the weekend. I couldn't find it.
It was close. I mean,
yeah, it's somewhere in here, and then
somewhere on the United States, man.
It's somewhere. It's
Minnesota.
somewhere within the continental U.S. But yeah, he pitched against Minnesota and Tampa Bay this week. Tampa Bay start tonight at home. Definitely been a little bit of a better pitcher at home, but home to road splits haven't been that much different. And more importantly, these are two lighter hitting offensive teams. Granted, Tampa Bay has hit a lot of home runs, but hasn't scored a ton of runs otherwise.
Sure.
So, I like both these matchups for him this week as a 2-star week. And also, if you can get him, he's not on a 2-star week this week. He's on a 2-star week next week. I'd pick up German Marquez. He starts tonight against Detroit and then opens up a 2-star week next week, Monday at San Francisco.
And a lot of playoffs do start next week, too, so it's great to add another 2-star pitcher to your repertoire.
Definitely against San Francisco. I like that one.
Yep.
I forgot who the second start is now. I had it. I thought I jotted it down in these notes, but I don't.
No worries.
Oh, well.
No worries. Another playoff run ad that I'll recommend, Chris Stratton. Has been absolute lights out for the San Francisco Giants. He goes against the St. Louis Cardinals this Friday. He's only 17.5% owned, which is up 9.8% in the last week. I think that could be an arm to help get you to the promised land.
Definitely.
Speaking of St. Louis Cardinals, I'm going to, keep riding with them. I'm going with Luke Weaver tonight as a streamer.
Got to jump in.
Hey, listen, I've been scared. You guys keep naming names. I figured it was my turn, all right? Sorry, Brian.
That's all good.
But,
I'll bring up Luke Weaver later in the DFS plays. Believe that.
Me too.
Yes.
39.6% owned. He's going up against Milwaukee, which he previously had a pretty solid start against them last time. 6.1 innings. He went only 5 hits, 2 earned runs, and 2 walks, 8 Ks. So pretty solid start against them last time. Let's hope he can perform again. And, St. Louis, I think they're below Milwaukee right now, and they're really fighting to get that division lead. And they've been one of the hotter teams lately, and I think Luke Weaver definitely going to help him out a little bit.
Yeah, even in Luke Weaver's last start, 7 innings, 3 hits, 10 Ks.
Yeah, it's big time. So that's definitely big time. Another guy who's just going to help you down the stretch here. He's not on a 2-star week this week. Might not be on a 2-star week next week, but he's a guy that you need to have rolling every 5 days. Colin McHugh for the Houston Astros, man. Dude's just moving and grooving.
He loves him.
He does.
I do, but you know what? In 5 of his last 6 starts, he's allowed 2 runs or less, going at minimum 5 2/3 innings. So, I mean, I'll take that. I'll take that with a minimum of 6 strikeouts per timeout. I'm good.
There's no problem with bromances, baby.
I'm good. I'm good. 3.63 ERA on the season. Only made about 11 starts so far. I'm good.
Sure.
I'm good.
Absolutely. A couple guys to look forward to in terms of September call-ups that I've been keeping an eye on. One of them is Brent Honeywell from the Tampa Bay Rays.
Is he coming up?
Here's the story. So there's a little story behind this. He's been suspended 4 games, not by Major League Baseball, but by the Rays, and it's due to comments that he's been frustrated that he hasn't been called up already because he's been absolutely lights out for AAA. He has 147 strikeouts at 118 innings. ERA is a bit elevated at 3.80, but since June, it's been 3.04 and an 8-2 record in that time period. It's just ironic that this 4-game suspension will basically bring the team to September 1st, where he'll be being called up. So certainly keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on Brent Honeywell. He could help you out because September call-ups are a great strategy in terms of if you're looking for arms for the playoffs. Your boy Stephen Brault is a guy that I've been keeping an eye on. He's less than 1% owned. He's currently up in the bigs, but he's in the pen. He might be good for a spot start. Some guy you can keep a whole eye on. Also, a guy I've mentioned at nauseum. I won't go into depth, but Brian Johnson. He'll be called back up September 1st. He's 13% owned, and he's a guy that could help maybe give like Erod or Doug Fister or Chris Sale maybe an extra day between starts. As the Red Sox, they're not cruising. The Yankees are still there, but still just to help set up their rotation for their own playoffs for that matter. I think those are guys that you could go for. Real quick before we hit the break, guys, drops. Is there any guy we talked, I don't think you're dropping Aaron Judge, but he might be a guy that's relegated to the bench until he can prove otherwise for that Yankees lineup. I know, are there guys that you want to drop before getting your roster nice and tidy for the playoffs?
I mean, my one roster, I love it right now, but Aaron Judge is one of my weakest points right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's average is one of our categories, and he's killing me. 0 for 5s, 0 for 4s. I mean, I can't take that. I've been trying to figure out who I need to drop with my pitchers that I could add another baseman because I have no bench for my batters.
Right.
So.
Right.
And I'm in a league where holds matter, so it's hard to give up one of those players.
Well, you have holds and saves as a
holds,
category?
yep. So.
Eesh.
Yeah.
We have that too.
Yeah, but but not as a points category.
Yeah, holds is. Oh, I'm
That's
sorry.
Category alone.
I picked up that conversation towards the answer.
Yeah, one hold could get you a win. If, that category wins. So.
Jeez, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's tough, but
that's hard.
That's why I'm just like I don't want to drop those guys. I have pretty solid hold players, so to drop one of those for an outfielder. But like I said, I already have Tommy Pham on my team.
Right.
So.
Right. Guy I think I'm prepared to part ways with is Matt Wieters. I mean, what a disappointment. You thought him coming to the Washington Nationals should really be the uptick that he needed as he had a strong second half for the Orioles last year. He's disappointed. I've already cut bait with him. Catching position has been so tough this year to navigate, but that's fine. I can pick up somebody else like a Pino from the Brewers. Other guys that are out there we've talked about already on the show. I think it's time to really trim down the roster, to where there's not a lot of choices. You want to cut down your choices. You don't want to compromise the structure of your team, the depth of your team, but the less choices you have, the better, I think, when you go into the fantasy baseball playoffs.
I honestly, I couldn't agree with you more. Choices are what make mistakes. You know what I mean? So when you limit your choices, you limit mistakes. Guys like James McCann, guys that are like scrub guys that you shouldn't have on your roster anymore, guys that should be gone. Guys that are injured that aren't coming back anytime soon, like a Joey Gallo.
Yep.
It's time to cut bait. Jason Kipnis, it's time to cut bait. Guys who aren't coming back this season, it's time to cut bait.
I think even in a keeper league, you cut bait with Cespedes because I think he's redraftable. I don't think he would be, or would he be a keeper?
No, he's not keeper worthy.
Yeah.
Neither is Michael Conforto, in all honesty. He had
true.
a very nice season, but he's not keeper worthy. You have to see him do it again first. So he would be a guy that's dumpable.
Would you cut if you've, like me, I've been stashing Noah Syndergaard in my DL. Now the reports are that when he's about ready to come back, he may be just a bullpen guy, just to get him some experience, not really starting. I don't know what you guys heard. Is he a guy that maybe you could cut bait? And that's purely in a redraft league.
Yeah, in the redraft league, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to. I mean, I've read the same reports, actually, that said he's probably coming back as a reliever. Also, similar reports I've read as well with Aaron Sanchez.
Right.
Another guy who's just had a terrible season. And for whatever reason,
Oof.
if you own him, still cut him. Like, why are you wasting your time? But, yeah, no. These are guys that just it doesn't make sense to roster him. I'd even consider cutting him in a keeper league. If it's not a multi-keeper league, I'd consider dropping him at this point because, I mean, you don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah. We've seen what happened with Matt Harvey and his injury ways, and we both know, being eternal Mets fans, that the New York Mets have arguably the worst medical staff in the history of sports.
Yes.
Not even in baseball, in the history of sports, across any sport.
Oh, no, it goes without a doubt. It goes without a doubt.
I swear there are witch doctors that have better medical practices.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, fellas, let's pay bills one last time. We'll come back on the other side and get to some DFS plays to round out the party. That is Fantasy Dominance, now only on A2DRadio.com, being sponsored by the Soap Stash. They are the new soap standard, and they remind you to treat your skin with the best nutrients and feel clean with the only soap you'll need. Contact Soap Stash today for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. Call them 844-890-3197. Look at their wonderful selection of products, soapstash.com, or check them out on Facebook, Soapstash LLC. We'll catch you on the other side, people.
Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real Talk, A2DRadio.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard.
Get your skills in shape, then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
You're listening to Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com.
And welcome back to today's Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com. Coming back at you with Brian Daly, Mike Klinkoff, Doug Pitchford, and yours truly, Rob Povia, Matt Tetsuti on the ones and twos, bringing you all the dominance. And if you want to dominate like we do, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You search A2DRadio.com. Love the questions that came in today. Keep them coming, even if it's after the show. We'll get you the answers that you need to dominate in all things fantasy sports. Just be sure to hashtag AskFDN. F for fantasy, D for dominance, N for now. Now, right? Remember back in the day? Now. All right, we're ready to help you dominate today in your MLB DFS leagues on this Tuesday, August 29th. And our DFS picks are being brought to you by Liberty Event Rentals. For all your party needs, give them a call, 267-314-7368, or look them up online, libertyeventrentals.com. So, gentlemen, let's start with a little buy low pitcher, your value play on the pitching side, either in DK or FanDuel. We'll start off with one, Mikey Klinkoff.
I brought him up for my streamer. I'm going to play him for my value play as well. Luke Weaver for DraftKings, 7,600 again versus Milwaukee. You already heard me talk about him, so not much more I need to say. I mean, Brian brought up his last start was 10 strikeouts, and his last start against Milwaukee had 8. So, I mean, that's what you're looking for for DFS.
Just over 6 2/3 innings, got that 8 Ks. And overall, in his last 18 1/3, this is my value play too. On the FanDuel side, he's 8,400, which is always about the same discrepancy that you'll see between DraftKings and FanDuel. Still a pretty cheap pitcher to roll with as your one SP in FanDuel. He's at 23 Ks in 18 1/3 innings over 3 major league starts this season. So he definitely brings the Ks, which is important for obviously FanDuel or DraftKings. And the only thing that made me nervous is this game's actually at Milwaukee, which they've been good for hitting the home run ball or whatnot. But what they've also been good for is striking out. They have the highest K percentage rate over the last week with the lowest weighted on-base average. Personally, I love this kid's stuff, and I think he's very talented. So you're getting him at a pretty cheap price.
Yeah, why not go with him?
Yeah, for my buy low guy, and I had said somebody else. I'd said like 3 other people earlier. I didn't even realize he was starting tonight. So I'm going to go with a local boy. I'm going to go with Mark Leiter Jr. tonight, 6,600 at home versus Atlanta. Now, Atlanta has been playing a little bit better. I mean, obviously, they've been playing much better ball than the Phils. But as of late, the Phils, been turning on a little bit. More importantly, man, Mark Leiter's looked pretty good as a starter. Over his last, I would say, about 4 starts on the season or 3 starts on the year, 13 strikeouts in 17 innings pitched. 1-0 record. You know what I mean? He's allowed a total of 5 earned runs over those 17 innings. So I really like him tonight. And in 2 of his 3 starts, he scored 33 and 46 FanDuel points, respectively. Obviously, 6 being the one that he got beat up a little bit in.
That's why I want to ask you, are you comfortable to roll him as your lone starting pitcher in FanDuel, or would he make a better SP2 in DraftKings?
He would definitely make a great SP2 in DraftKings. I actually would roll with him as a lone start in FanDuel, especially if I'm going with a buy low pitcher so I can load up offensively.
Low chalk for certain, man.
Absolutely.
You might be the only one and the smartest one, along with our brethren here that are tuning in,
Yeah, again, the strikeouts this guy has over his last, I believe it's like 5 appearances. 4 appearances, tells you enough. 5 strikeouts in a 7-inning start. Granted, yes, it was against San Diego, which doesn't strike out a lot, by the way, if you look at the numbers. He had 1 strikeout over the 5 innings, did allow 10 base runners. They're a patient team. Mets, 7 strikeouts in 5 innings. At Colorado, and this is the reason why I'm really telling you to do this. He was in Colorado, 4 1/3 innings out of the pen, 2 hits allowed, 9 strikeouts. This guy's he's a power arm, and he strikes guys out. This is what he does, what he did in the minors. It's why they brought him up. I like Mark Leiter tonight.
Nice. Brian, you got a value play?
Yeah, Mikey took my value play again too.
Oh, we're all on the Luke Weaver train?
Yeah.
Well, he's got a great BVP. You look at his BVP, man, and it's not really that shallow. He's actually faced the Brewers quite a bit, even though he has limited starts in the Major League Baseball. It's interdivision, so obviously I think you got like Ryan Braun 3 for 9 lifetime, but other than that, you got lots of 1 for, Arcia's 1 for 6, Broxton's 1 for 8. Villar's 1 for 6. Not that he matters much these days. Everybody else is a goose egg. So I think if you roll like Luke Weaver and Mark Leiter Jr. on DraftKings, man, nobody's gonna have that combination, yo.
No. That's so much money you save too. That's so much money. I wouldn't recommend that, however. Do not do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like,
go with a lock and then him. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But no, there's a couple other guys you can go with too that actually have quality matchups here for tonight's starts. Jack Junis, I'd mentioned him before as an ad. I mean, he's a great play tonight at 7,100. Spending a little bit more money, Trevor Bauer at 8,500 against the Yankees. The Yankees strike out a ton.
But Judge isn't playing.
They still strike out a ton.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, that's just
Castro back in the lineup though. He's good contact rate, low swing and miss rate.
Yeah, but I mean that doesn't make
One
up
player.
that doesn't make up for the other 8 guys.
Yeah. Right, absolutely. Well, talking about hitters, let's pull double duty, Brian, so we don't steal your thunder here. Who's your buy low hitter, your value play for either DraftKings or FanDuel?
Rhys Hoskins. He's got to be. He's one of the hottest hitters in baseball, and he's going to come up relatively cheap. What was his home run streak at? Like 11 of his first 18 games where he had a home run in. And streak ended last night, but he still wound up having 2 hits. So he's showing that not only can he hit the ball, but he can also keep the ball in play.
He's actually up to 4,500 on FanDuel, which is
not.
more than I thought, but I mean it's still not ridiculously expensive.
That's pretty expensive.
He's 4,600 on DraftKings.
Yeah,
for someone who's only been in the league, 20 games?
Yeah, but he's
but
he's
20
on
games,
fire.
11 home runs.
Yeah,
though.
exactly. That's why he's so much now. FanDuel, DraftKings, they know how to keep their money in their pockets.
He's averaging on DraftKings 13.4 points per game.
Yeah, on FanDuel, he's averaging 18.37 points per game. Fantasy points per game.
I still think it's a great combination between you save like 900 to 1,200 on a top-line outfielder, and he's giving you top-line production. My big concern is 65% of chance of rain. That game's in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
If you don't have a late swap, that could – well, I mean, it's a 7:05 game, but, if it's going to get rained out, probably chances are you'll know that before that 7:05 start. But you're going to stay tuned. But I like Rhys. I definitely like Rhys as much as a Mets fan can.
I like Rhys. I like him as well as much as a Mets fan can, but I think I like Giancarlo Stanton for the extra 900 a little bit more if I'm going to spend that much already.
Sure.
But I feel like at that point it's such a high-owned player that your point spreds are just – you're going to be going with everybody else,
Yeah, he's a way to break the trend, break the chalk.
I think he's in line with the chalk actually at 4,500 because of the homer streak. Like people know who he is. People are going to jump on that homer streak, so he's also going to be chalk. Actually, if there's anybody, I might lean towards Mike Trout, who's swinging a hot bat, but he's not swinging that hot of a bat.
Sure. Let's get into some more just so we have time left in the program here. Mikey, who's your buy low hitter?
Haven't gotten there, actually.
No?
Nah.
All right, I'll go. I got a really deep guy here. I'm chomping at the bit to get to him. Unless, Doug, you want to go first?
Nope.
It's hard. It's hard when the rosters aren't out yet.
Yeah, it is hard.
know?
And this is a gamble here. This is based on, but I think he will be in the lineup tonight. And that's J.D., not Martinez, but J.D. Davis.
Who?
J.D. Davis.
Who?
Great value plays, third base and outfielder. I think I'm going to see what he qualifies in DFS leagues, but with the Houston Astros, he just absolutely tears up left-handed pitchers. He's got massive power, and when you talk about left-handed pitchers, they don't get much worse than who he faces tonight, and that's Martin Perez. So I think you can get great values, 2,400 on FanDuel.
You know what my favorite line is in this show at this point.
Yes.
Not so fast, my friend.
Yes.
I have one that is worse.
That's why you wanted
and
me to go
he's
first.
starting tonight. I actually didn't know you were going to set me up for this one. That was awesome. I'm actually going to go Jose Bautista tonight at 2,900 because his opponent tonight
JD's a third baseman, by the way. Just wanted to chime that in real quick.
Because I have faith in him tonight, especially at Boston. It's in Toronto, it's in Toronto, but he's versus Boston. Boston's been struggling, man. They really have with the arms, and I believe tonight's starter for Boston is
Chris Sale.
just feel it.
You feel it?
The feeling.
Chris Sales has been struggling lately. We will rehash him in a little bit.
I like it.
Let's go into some stacks of the night. Team I'm stacking, it's a Coors Day. You got to stack the Rockies hitters. And they're going against Michael Fulmer, who's a solid pitcher, but yeah, he's never had strikeout stuff, and he's really been struggling this year. So I think the combination of that struggles and being in Coors, load him up with the Rockies hitters. Just the key guys. I mean, Blackman, Arenado, maybe even take a shot on Trevor Story, but if you need to stay value. But I don't really have BVP to go. It's very limited in terms of the BVP with Michael Fulmer being in the opposite league. So I'll leave it at that. That's my stack.
I like it. I'm with you 100%. I would even throw Gerardo Parra.
Yes, that's who I was thinking of. Yeah.
I'm going back to that Boston game.
Yeah.
I like the stack. I mean, granted, I did say that Jose Bautista will homer tonight against Chris Sale. He will. That will happen, guaranteed.
Okay.
That's a lock. However, going back to my original point of finding a left-hander worse than the man you had mentioned, how about Brett Anderson? Starting for Toronto tonight.
Yes.
Versus Boston.
Right.
Yes.
In Toronto. Stack Boston.
Yes.
I smell a hedge coming.
It's written in fine ink.
I'm smelling a hedge.
Yes, that's my stack tonight as well.
I would start Chris Sale, and I would stack against him, too.
I would start Chris Sale as well. I'm going Mookie. Eduardo Nunez has had 7 home runs in the 29 games that he's played with Boston so far this year, and Devers for third base.
You know what? I thought about that. I'm actually going to go with Hanley Ramirez at first base in this stack tonight. And I'm actually going to go with an interesting one here. I'm going to go Jackie Bradley Jr. tonight.
JBJ.
I think if he starts tonight, I think he has a big game. If he doesn't start tonight, Chris Young.
I was going to say I was just going to say as a value
there.
play for Boston coming in at 2,600 on DraftKings
Because he destroys left-handed pitching.
And actually it says he's batting 5th. Chris Young, so
there you go, Chris Young. There you go. So the stack for the Boston tonight looks to be, Chris Young, some combination of Hanley Ramirez, Mookie Betts, and Rafael Devers, and you maybe sprinkle in a little Andrew Benintendi in there.
So there's a Boston stack, and then me and you, Brian, are with the Rockies here.
Yeah, buddy.
Awesome. Who you fading tonight, fellas?
As
Toronto.
I said before,
Toronto.
any Pirates players against Arrieta, they just never match well against them.
Right.
All pitching wise. I know you just said look at the numbers for San Diego, but San Diego they were anyway striking out a lot, so don't pay for Matt Moore tonight.
Gotcha.
$8,100, so I'm fading him.
Yeah.
Never pay that for Matt Moore.
No. That's Luke Weaver's cheaper, and I think he has better potential and projected points than
Moore just disappoints me. In
he does, and it was one of those wasted draft picks of mine. So
I'm definitely fading. I'm fading Yankees bats tonight against Trevor Bauer. I'm not touching Gary Sanchez. None of them guys tonight. I'm also fading. If you thought about maybe Javier Garcia as a sneaky pickup because Cleveland doesn't hit left-handers all that particularly well. I'd still avoid that too because it's Jaime Garcia. I mean, come on, what's wrong with you?
Tonight, in lieu of, I was high on Mike Fiers as a 2-start week in leagues. I'm fading the Rangers hitters against that same Mike Fiers. They don't hit on the road, and this one is really on the road, taking place in the neutral location in St. Petersburg with the Hurricane Harvey running rampant. I'm fading because Astros are a huge favorite according to Vegas at minus 180, and the Rangers organization are greedy fucks, absolutely, because they talked about just switching. We do it. They take their home ball, the home series, have it in Houston, then they play back in Arlington later in the season. Rangers didn't want to do it. They wanted both in Arlington later on in the season. Just absolutely agree. That's another story for another day. All right, everybody give their fades.
Yeah.
Lock of the night, real quick. I disagree with you, Doug. I think my lock is Chris Sale. He's let up 10 earned runs over his last 2 starts, which may have people looking elsewhere because of his normal expensive price, $10,900 on FanDuel. I love playing Sale after a bad start because as he just usually rocks the house. Just look at the start he had against Tampa Bay on August the 8th. And 2 starts versus the Blue Jays this season. He has 24 Ks in 15 innings and has not allowed any runs in those starts. The FanDuel price is easier to swallow than the DK price.
I mean, I can see it. I mean, obviously, Chris Sale's Chris Sale. I mean, it's not a bad, terrible play, but I do think he lets up 4 or 5 runs.
Absolutely. Who's your lock real quick?
My lock of the night, I thought I already said him, but Jake Junis.
There you go.
I'll go Big Irv.
Big Irv.
Versus the White Sox, 10,200 on DraftKings.
Going Chris Hill against that weak Toronto lineup.
Me and you are on the same page, Brian. Going to the Twitter real quick. Who's the biggest loss for the 2017 fantasy football season? With 79% of the vote, Julian Edelman, overwhelming favorite. That's what we said here on the show. Thank you, everybody, for chiming in today. Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter. It's time to dominate. Football's starting soon. Baseball playoffs are starting soon.
Yes.
So much left to go. Keep it there. 3 p.m. Hockey Happy Hour. Only on A2DRadio.com. For Matt Sensudi, Brian Daly, Mike Kleinkoff, Doug Pitchford. I'm Rob Pobia. Peace.
Deuces.
Have a great day.